Great. Thank you so much, Ellie. So we'll get started. Welcome back to a lot of familiar faces on screen. Welcome to those of you who are joining in for the first time. My name is Allie. I'm a doctor of physical therapy as well as a nationally certified Pilates instructor. I've been practicing here in Boston over the last 5 years. I own my own practice here, but I also teach with the Community Online Academy all day, every Thursday. So lots of fun classes. And for this particular program, this is our stretch and strength for spine health using the foam roller. So we have 30 minutes. We're going to try and move for most of that 30 minutes doing some stretching, some strengthening, some soft tissue mobility work using our foam rollers. I will save a moment or two at the end to answer any questions that you have. So if something comes up during class, send it to me in the chat. I won't read it during class, but I will read it afterward, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. That being said, I do recommend that you listen to your body and take the option that feels best for you. I'm going to offer a number of options to progress, modify, and customize this workout to your body. So please listen into my cues, follow the option that's right for you, which is going to be different than me, different than your neighbors, different even than maybe how you felt yesterday. And that way you'll get the most out of your workout. Now we're going to get started lying lengthwise on the roller today. So if you have a shorter roller, this is where you're going to need to modify a little bit. I promise you'll get back into the swing of things right as we get moving. So you're going to take your foam roller and lie it lengthwise along your mat. And you're going to end up lying your spine from your bottom to your head all the way along the roller. I think the easiest way to get on is to sit on the end of your roller, walk your hands back behind you until you can lie down. Now, if you are working with a shorter roller, you can still do this, just lying down with your head and at least your shoulders and rib cage on the roller. From there, you're just going to need to hold your hips up or maybe place a pillow underneath your hips. So once you're in this position, take a moment to get settled in. This can feel a little bit funny. It might feel a little intense to get started. I have people ask me all the time, what is good posture? How do I know that I'm in good posture? It can be tricky to feel that. Having the roller along the length of our back is one really quick, easy way to do so. So you should feel your tailbone, the back of your ribs and shoulder blades, and the back of your head on the roller. And you can feel maybe if you're kind of swayed to one side or the other, try and center yourself as best you can on the roller. If you'd like to separate your feet a little bit here for some more stability, you can go ahead and do so. And we're going to just start with a little chest opener to allow ourselves to find that better posture. So we're going to open the arms up out to the side, turning the palms to face up towards the ceiling, and just use gravity to allow your chest to open up and kind of drape over the roller. So once you're in this position, gravity will do its job. You get to just hang out here. Now, what I'd like you guys to think about to increase this stretch is the position of your rib cage. So as we open up our chest, it's natural for our ribs to lift towards the ceiling. I want you to think of pressing the back of your ribs into the roller behind you. And that should actually increase the stretch that you feel across your chest. If you need to modify and decrease that stretch, bring your hands down lower by your side. If you'd like to challenge that stretch to make it a little deeper, you can walk your hands up higher towards the top of the roller. But this should feel just like a stretch. It shouldn't be pulling. It shouldn't be painful. If it is numb and tingly in your fingers, you want to bend your elbows and make sure that your neck has not changed as well. So if your chin is pointing up towards the ceiling, draw your chin down. Your gaze should be right up to the ceiling above you, and just allow your body to melt and relax here. We'll start taking some deep breaths in through the nose and deep breaths out through the mouth. We'll try 2 more. Inhale in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Once more here, take a big inhale breath in through the nose and an exhale breath out through the mouth. Now we're going to increase this upper body stretch. For my beginners, I'd like you to keep your feet wide. If you are more intermediate to advanced in your practice, bring your feet close together, perhaps even touching. From here, we're going to reach the fingertips up to the ceiling and just get your balance. I want you to feel the back of your shoulder blades almost hugging the roller behind you. And it might be tricky to get your bearings. Push down into your feet and continue to draw the rib cage down to feel the back of your ribs press into the roller. Once you have that set up, we're going to start to draw some arm circles here. And I want your arms to move in symmetry with one another. If they are not, you'll find that you may fall off the roller. And you can go really slow here. These arm circles are meant to open up the neck, the chest, and also challenge your balance a little bit. That's it. Good. We'll try 3 more. Circle back up and around. Good. 2 more. Reach back, circle and in. Once more like this, reaching back, circling, and return the fingertips to the ceiling. We're going to try the opposite direction. So retrace that same circle, reaching out, up, and around. Notice if your rib cage leaves the mat as you reach behind you. You want to be able to balance a glass of water right on top of your ribs, despite being on this moving roller here. That's it. We'll try 3 more. Sweep up and around. Good. 2 more. Up and around. That's it. Once more here. Reach out, up and around. And you can bring your hands down by your side. So just the tippity tips of your fingers are touching down onto the floor. From here, we're going to start to add in some leg movement. So we'll just march the legs off the floor one at a time. So nice and gentle. I want you to try and minimize the amount of side to side feeling you have on the roller by pressing your back rib cage down to keep your core active. So almost like you're holding a plank, but lying on your back. For those of you who are feeling like this is super easy, you can lift both of your feet and try instead lowering one leg down towards the floor at a time, reaching the toes as though you're dipping them in a pool of water in front of you. And you're lowering down only as far as you can keep yourself stable on that roller. You've got it here. 4 more. And 3, option to go back to those marches if you need, and 2. 1 more time here, and place both feet down. We're going to come off the roller, so I think the easiest way is to just gently roll to your side and then press yourself on up. Now we'll turn the roller to get a little bit more into the upper back. So for those of you dealing with neck and shoulder discomfort, this is really important. This can also help with low back pain. So we're going to hold the roller and line up so that it falls right underneath our shoulder blades. Knees are bent, and we hold our head in our hands. I recommend if you have a hood or longer hair to pull it out of the way so it does not get stuck in the roller underneath you. Now in this position, if you can imagine the space between your ribs and hips, I want you to make that space smaller before we begin. So that will protect your lower back. From here, we're going to lift the hips into a small hover and roll to the base of our neck, and then right back down to below our shoulder blade. So very gentle here, rolling back and forth. And I want you to really intentionally put pressure into the roller behind you. That's by pushing down into your ribs, and putting that pressure into the roller behind you is what's going to help you get a better stretch, but it will also keep the roller from slipping out from underneath you. Now, this beginning part here works to mobilize the joints in your thoracic spine. That's your upper back. It also helps us to mobilize the muscles between our shoulder blades, which can often be tender with a lot of sitting or sort of looking down at our computer screens. We'll try about a few more rolls like this, and I want you to notice if there's one particular spot that is tight for your body. And once you find that spot, you're going to pause on it, place your bottom down, close that space between your ribs and hips, but at the same time, let your spine drape over the shape of the roller. So I want you to imagine the front of your rib cage here like an accordion. You're drawing one edge down and the opposite edge back, pulling to open up the front of your chest. We'll hold here, taking a deep breath in, and then a deep breath out, and then we're going to roll to a slightly different spot. Try that same thing. Place your bottom down, draw your rib cage down, and melt your spine over the roller. Now notice I'm not letting my head hang back here. My head is still heavy in my hands. It's my chest that's dropping back. So I want that to come from your upper back, your extension. Good. So as you go back into rolling now, we're going to add in a couple of options. So from here, you can rotate your right elbow towards your right hip, which will open up your left side. You can do the opposite, rotating your left elbow towards your left hip. Notice where your body is a little bit tighter. I want you to spend a little bit more time there. And maybe it's even from side to side. That's fine. Work within what's comfortable for your body so you can do equal rolling on both sides. And remember, we're not rolling on the neck nor the lower back. We're just staying along the length of our rib cage here. Now we can also add in a bit of rotation. This rotation is tipping one elbow up to the ceiling, one elbow down towards the floor. That helps us to get into our side body here. Our side body is our rib cage, but there's also a number of small muscles in here. Our lats, our serratus, they are shoulder muscles that also influence how our lower back feels because they actually attach down quite low along the length of our ribs. And you can feel that here. That one on right side for me today is quite tight. So I'm going to spend an extra moment there. You can kind of assess and feel where your body needs the most attention. Maybe that's even back into the center. So you can always come back to that midline part. Make sure that you are breathing here. We're mobilizing your rib cage. So you want to expand your ribs as you work on this soft tissue by taking deep breaths in and deep breaths back out. We're going to roll for just another moment here. Good. And then gently lower your bottom down, pick your chest down up, and take a little rest. Now we're going to do 2 quick challenges for our abdominals, one facing forward, one facing backwards. So we'll take that roller and set up like we began with the roller right underneath our shoulder blades. Okay, so hands come behind the head, knees are bent. We're going to close that space between your ribs and hips. That's really important. Now I want you to think of pressing the back ribs into the roller behind you. That's what's going to keep the roller steady. That's also what helps keep your core active. So pressing back ribs into the roller. From here, we start that same marching motion. You guys have done this already. We did this laying down. So I want you to think of the hips staying nice and even, as though you are still lying on that roller, trying not to rock the roller from side to side. Now, as this feels comfortable, this feels easy, you can take one leg up to tabletop, the other leg to meet it. If you're back arched, go back to those marches. Continue to think of pressing the back of your ribs in on the roller. If you could hold this position comfortably, you can start to extend one leg out, pull back in, the opposite leg reach, pull back in. So nice and steady, pressing the legs out while simultaneously pressing the back of your rib cage into the mat behind you. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. 4 more. 3. Last 2. Good, guys. Last time, place both feet down. Drape your spine over the shape of the roller behind you. Take a big deep breath in here through the nose and a deep breath out through the mouth. And then carefully come on up. We're going to roll to the side and flip to our stomach to do that second core challenge, this time on our stomach. So this time we're going to go into the extended position. So you can lie on down. If you have shoulder sensitivities, you're going to work with a bent elbow. If not, you can straighten your elbows here. Keeping your neck long, the first movement is to take the shoulder blades out away from our ears. So the neck is long, shoulder blades are onto our back. I'm pushing down through the heel of my hand to lift my chest open and then drop my chest back down. So we're just going to start here, pulling to lift the chest open and gently melting back down. My hips are on the mat. If you're feeling pinching in your low back, separate your feet a little bit wider than hips distance and really press your hands down. So I know you guys can't see that really here, but I am actively pushing down into the roller to create a lift through my spine with support from the roller underneath me. Now we have an optional add-on here today. So if you would like, you're going to bend your elbows slightly. Start in that lifted position. Once you come up, hold that lift. You're going to dip the elbows, tap the mat, press back up, and roll back down. We roll on up, lift, dip the elbows down, push the elbows up, and roll. So we're adding in a little tricep push-up here. Elbows tap the mat, chest lowers, push, chest open, roll back down. Pull that roller towards you, dip down, let the elbows tap, push, and lower. Now the whole time I'm doing this, I am still pushing my hands down into that roller, even when I'm lowering my elbows. We have 4 more. Elbows dip, lift, and press back down. Now you have that option to continue with just the regular roll and lower down. Twice more. We lift up, elbows bend, we push and lower. Last time here, roll on up, elbows bend, push, extend all the way back down. You can take your hands off the roller, push yourself up and back, and round into a shell stretch, maybe even letting your forehead rest down onto the mat. Take a deep breath in here, and a deep breath out, letting go of some of that stale air at the bottom of your lungs. We come back on up, and we're going to prepare to roll our quads. So our quads are that big muscle on the front of our thighs. They tend to be quite tight and often overused because of weakness on the muscles on the back side of our body. So what we'll do here is take that roller. You want the roller to go above your knee but below your hip. So somewhere along the length of your thighs, not on either of the joints. I recommend doing this on your forearms. So you can lower down until the roller is underneath your thighs. Now you have options here. You can keep your toes down for a little bit of support. You can also lift your feet if that feels comfortable for your body. Now I want you guys to think a little bit about your upper body posture here. Let's treat this like a plank. So lift your ribs away from the floor, push your elbows down into the mat. We're gonna roll by either pushing our elbows front to back or walking our elbows. You can keep your feet down to do this, almost like we are crawling along the length of our mat. And remember that we are rolling right up to our hips, all the way down to just above the knees. The quad is a pretty long muscle here, so we want to get into all the parts of it. And different people are going to feel tight in different areas of the quad. Just use this initial big long rolling to take note of where your body is tight. It might be down lower for some people, it might be up a little bit higher for others. Now the quad is made up of 4 different muscles, or rather 4 fibers of muscles that make up the one quadricep. And so they go from the outside all the way over to the inside of the leg. So if you would like, you can roll a little bit through your hips to feel the differences between the outside and the inside. And again, different people are tight in different zones. So go ahead and find that area for you that works for your body. Now, if you would like to put more body weight on one side than the other, you can cross one ankle on top of the other and then continue rolling like that. For me, that generally feels like too much pressure here. So I'm going to go back to my legs being parallel to one another as I continue to roll. Now let's check in with our shoulders here. Are they hiked up by your ears? Try dropping your shoulders down away from your ears. Good. And gently roll along the length of the thighs, keeping your head, neck, and chest lifted. We'll do just another moment or 2 here. Make sure you are getting all the way down. I know I'm a little bit out of the camera there, but this is a long muscle. We want to get all the way down towards our knees and then all the way back up right to the front of the hip. We'll try 2 or 3 more just like that. And one more time here. Good. And gently lower down. We're going to lift ourselves on up and take a moment's pause. So after we have done a soft tissue mobilization kind of means like a massage, but a little bit more intense where we're actually moving the fibers of the tissue itself. So that's what we just did for that quad. After we do that, I like to build in some strengthening to reinforce the new mobility that we've just given that tissue. So for this one, this is called thigh stretch. We're gonna come up to a kneeling position. I'm gonna tuck my shirt in so you guys can see here. If you have sensitivity to kneeling, roll up your mat a couple of times. So you're gonna press your hips forward, stack your shoulders right on top of your hips. If you would like to hold your roller here as an added challenge, you can do so, but you don't really need the roller for this exercise. Imagine your spine as this one long board. I'm gonna gently tip backwards from here and then stack the spine and come back up tall. Notice when I tip backwards that I am bending from the knees. The rest of my spine stays still. So I'm not actually leaning back. I'm not dropping my hips back. I'm keeping the spine tall, just tipping back and restacking coming up. So that uses your quad muscle. That is the muscle on the front of the thigh. It actually uses that muscle in a lengthening way. So the muscle is getting longer as it's working, tipping back behind us. Now look back at your feet. They should be parallel. Sometimes I see the feet fall together. Separate them so they are hips distance apart. We're staying up tall. You can keep that roller reaching out in front of you as a little counterbalance here. We'll try 3 more. Dip back, slow, come on up. 2 more, we dip back. Slow to lift back up. 1 more time. We're gonna hold it back there, dip back another inch, hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can place that roller down and once again, sit back into a little child's pose or shell stretch. Good. We'll take a deep breath in here and a deep breath out. Excellent. Now, if any of you guys felt cramping in your feet or you felt like, wow, my feet are really tight, that's what's limiting me in that exercise, you're in luck because we're going to do a little bit of foot and calf work next. So go ahead and sit on your bottom. We're going to place the roller underneath our calf muscles. So somewhere between your ankle and your knee, we have the calf muscles that run along the backside of our legs. Sometimes tightness here restricts the mobility of our ankles, and so that makes it difficult to flex our feet behind us in the way that we just did. So what we'll do is walk your hands about 6 to 8 inches behind your bottom, open up your chest and your collarbones, pick your bottom up off the mat, and you're gonna start to roll along the length of the roller. So right up to the back of your knees and then down to the bottom of your ankles. Rolling forward and all the way back. Okay, so you can find, again, where different spots are tight on different people. You can place your bottom down, readjust your hands if needed. I would recommend, if you have sciatica, to keep a soft bend in your knees. Now, just like in the quad muscle, if you would like to cross one ankle on top of the other for a little bit more body weight, you can certainly do so here. And just like in the quad, you can roll a little bit to the inside and the outside of your calf muscle. Now, our calf muscle really is just one muscle, but there are two kind of muscles that lie one on top of the other. There's the soleus that's on the bottom, the gastrocnemius that's on the top. And so you can get a little bit deeper into the soleus by putting a little bit more body weight through your single side here. So if you'd like to feel the difference, you can go ahead and do so. Now, this also doubles as quite a bit of core work, quite a bit of shoulder work. So check back in with your shoulders. Think about threading your bottom between your elbows and then pressing your hips forward, maybe even lifting them up, lowering down to get down by the ankles, and pressing up to come up higher towards the back of your knee. We'll do just a few more here. That's it here, guys. One more time. And lower all the way back down. Very nice. Okay, so we're gonna now place the ball of the foot onto the roller, and we're gonna try a little footwork combined with core work. And we did this one last week. This is a very challenging exercise. I'll offer some options for modification first. So you're gonna take the arches of your feet on top of the roller and lie down onto your back, pressing your legs out straight. Now from here, I want you to feel like you can push into your feet. Grip the roller with your feet, almost like your feet are little claws that you can wrap around and dig into the roller. Keeping your feet active, start to pull the roller towards you and press it back out. And you can readjust so that you have more range of motion. But the whole time you're pulling that roller towards you, I want you to press your feet down into the roller as though it's along a very slippery surface that you feel nervous that the roller might roll away from you. And this actually works some of the little intrinsic muscles in your feet. It also works the back of your hamstrings. So you have the option to stay here. Those of you looking for an added abdominal challenge, reach your arms long overhead. As you exhale, you're going to roll up to a seated position. Inhale, push the roller away, lie back down. Exhale, roll up, pull that roller in towards you, push the roller away, roll the spine back down. We'll try 3 more like this. Exhale, pull that roller in towards you. Inhale, press out, melt the spine all the way back down. Twice more, we look to the toes, pull that roller up and in. Inhale, press that roller away, reaching out long. Last time here, big inhale. Exhale, pull that roller in. And then press that roller all the way out long, lying down onto your back. Take that full body stretch. Enjoy the lift of your feet above that roller. Inhale, breath in through the nose. And then exhale, breath out through the mouth. And then gently turn to press yourself on up to a seated position. Okay, so nice work there, guys. Those were some challenging exercises we did today. We don't think about our feet often, but our feet are the foundation for the rest of our body. Building strength in our feet can be really important to help create shock absorption for our spine when we're walking, when we're running, when we're doing stairs. So I hope that you took a little bit from that footwork series we did. We'll continue to build on that in our future weeks. I'd like to spend our last 2 or 3 minutes here of class to answer any additional questions that you guys have about today's program. One that comes up almost every week, which I'm going to answer right away, is how often should I do these things? The rolling that we did for your upper back, as well as laying on the roller the way that we started class, you can do that every day. You could do that a couple times a day. I want you guys to think of this as almost like a pain pill for your body. So when your body is aching and sore from working, you have this available to help manage your symptoms. The rolling that we did for our quads and for our calves, so for the muscles, the soft tissue mobilization, that you want to do about 2 to 3 days a week. So that can be pretty intense. Your body may need a little bit of recovery time from that. So about 2 to 3 days per week is appropriate.